battles. Book of Mormon, Mosiah chapter 10, verse 20. And it came to pass that we did drive them again out of our land, and we slew them with a great slaughter, even so many that we did not number them. Alma chapter 2, verse 19. And it came to pass that the Nephites did pursue the Amalekites all that day, and did slay them with much slaughter, insomuch that there were slain of the Amalekites 12,532 souls. And there were slain of the Nephites 6,562 souls. Alma chapter 2, verse 27. And behold, as they were crossing the river Sidon, the Lamanites and the Amalekites, being as numerous almost, as it were as the sands of the sea, came upon them to destroy them. Alma chapter 3, verse 1. And it came to pass that the Nephites who were not slain by the weapons of war, after having buried those who had been slain, now the number of the slain were not numbered because of the greatness of their number, after they had finished burying their dead, they all returned to their lands and to their houses and their wives and their children. Alma chapter 3, verse 26. And in 1 year were thousands and tens of thousands of souls sent to the eternal world. Alma chapter 28, verse 2. And thus there was a tremendous battle, yea, even such an one as never had been known among all the people in the land from the time Lehi left Jerusalem. Yea, and tens of thousands of the Lamanites were slain and scattered abroad. 3 Nephi chapter 3, verse 22. And it came to pass in the 17th year, in the latter end of the year, the proclamation of Laconius had gone forth throughout all the face of the land. And they had taken their horses and their chariots and their cattle and all their flocks and their herds, and their grain and all their substance, and did march forth by thousands and by tens of thousands, until they had all gone forth to the place which had been appointed, that they should gather themselves together to defend themselves against their enemies. Mormon chapter 1, verse 11. And it came to pass that the Nephites had gathered together a great number of men, even to exceed the number of 30,000. And it came to pass that they did have in this same year a number of battles, in which the Nephites did beat the Lamanites, and did slay many of them. Mormon chapter 2, verse 9. And now the Lamanites had a king, and his name was Aaron. And he came against us with an army of 44,000. And behold, I withstood him with 42,000. Ether chapter 15, verse 2. He saw that there had been slain by the sword already nearly 2 millions of his people. And he began to sorrow in his heart, yea, there had been slain 2 millions of mighty men, and also their wives and their children. With all of these battles, with thousands, tens of thousands, 2 million, and numbers big enough that they are not counted of casualties, the Book of Mormon becomes absolutely unbelievable when you realize that there is zero archaeological evidence that would back up these stories. Money. Book of Mormon, Alma chapter 11, verses 3 through 17. And the judge received for his wages, according to his time, a senine of gold for a day, or a senum of silver, which is equal to a senine of gold. And this is according to the law which was given. Now these are the names of the different pieces of their gold, and of their silver according to their value. And the names are given by the Nephites, for they did not reckon after the manner of the Jews who were at Jerusalem, neither did they measure after the manner of the Jews, but they altered their reckoning and their measure according to the minds and the circumstances of the people, in every generation until the reign of the judges, they having been established by King Mosiah. Now the reckoning is thus: a senine of gold, a seon of gold, a shum of gold, and a limna of gold, a senum of silver, an amner of silver, an esrom of silver, and an onti of silver. A senum of silver was equal to a senine of gold, and either for a measure of barley, and also for a measure of every kind of grain. Now the amount of a seon of gold was twice the value of a senine, and a shum of gold was twice the value of a seon. And a limna of gold was the value of them all, and an amner of silver was as great as 2 senos. And an esram of silver was as great as 4 senos, and an onti was as great as them all. Now this is the value of the lesser numbers of their reckoning. A shiblon is half of a senum, therefore a shiblon for half a measure of barley, and a shiblum is a half of a shiblon, and a leah is the half of a shiblum. Alma chapter 11 verse 19. Now an antion of gold is equal to 3 shiblons. Here we have a detailed description of a supposed currency that was supposed to have been used by the Nephites. If this group of people really existed and really used money like this, surely somebody somewhere someday would be expected to find at least one of these coins. I would expect with populations the size that the Book of Mormon describes, there would have been at the very least tens of thousands, if not millions or billions of these coins made. Writings. Book of Mormon, Mosiah chapter 2, verse 8. And it came to pass that he began to speak to his people from the tower, and they could not all hear his words, because of the greatness of the multitude. Therefore he caused that the words which he spake should be written and sent forth among those that were not under the sound of his voice, that they might also receive his words. Mosiah chapter 29 verse 4. Therefore King Mosiah sent again among the people, yea, even a written word sent he among the people. And these were the words that were written, saying, Alma chapter 63 verse 12. Now behold, all those engravings which were in the possession of Helaman were written and sent forth among the children of men throughout all the land, save it were those parts which had been commanded by Alma should not go forth. If the Book of Mormon were true, surely we would have found one single writing that could verify some part of the Book of Mormon that would predate Joseph Smith. Depletion of natural resources. Helaman chapter 3 verses 7 through 11. And there being but little timber upon the face of the land, nevertheless the people who went forth became exceedingly expert in the working of cement. Therefore they did build houses of cement, in the which they did dwell. And it came to pass that they did multiply and spread, and did go forth from the land southward to the land northward, and did spread in so much that they began to cover the face of the whole earth, from the sea south to the sea north, from the sea west to the sea east. And the people who were in the land northward did dwell in tents and in houses of cement, and they did suffer whatsoever tree should spring up upon the face of the land, that it should grow up, that in time they might have timber to build their houses, yea, their cities, and their temples, and their synagogues, and their sanctuaries, and all manner of their buildings. And it came to pass, as timber was exceedingly scarce in the land northward, they did send forth much by the way of shipping. And thus they did enable the people in the land northward that they might build many cities, both of wood and of cement. I am no rocket scientist, but I am fairly certain that there have been more trees cut down in the Americas in the last 200 years than there possibly could have been in 4,000 years prior to the formation of the United States. Yet we have billions of trees in the United States alone. If the people talked about in the Book of Mormon were real and had any type of intelligence, it would be absurd to believe that they would have used up nearly all of the trees in the Americas. I believe that with little effort it could be proven for certain scientifically that this could not possibly have been the case in the Americas around 40 or 50 BC. One last point to consider. Cement, if it existed in 45 or 46 BC, is something we could expect to still find remnants of. If they were building houses and even cities of cement, why have we never found even part of one that can be shown to be historical evidence for the Book of Mormon?